What's today's podcast episode about?
Why perfectionism is murdering you.
Whoa.
Murder is a worse word, I think, than killing.
All right, let's get into it.
Welcome to Leading Life, the show all about living to the fullest and leading life on your terms.
You will learn tips, tools, and strategies for achieving total personal transformation.
I'm Bren.
And I'm Cam.
This is Leading Life.
Yo, 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 yo. What up, what up, what up? Welcome. Hey, is it time yet? Yeah, welcome to the Leading Life podcast. Yo, bro, I'm pumped today. How you feeling?
Good. Feeling good. Slept all day again.
Yeah.
I've been up all night doing a lot of stuff at nighttime.
Yeah.
I need to fix that.
Hey, man, it's all, you're young. You don't have a job. Just work, man. Get some work done. Don't worry about
That's what I'm doing.
the time you're up at. Unless, you want to develop a schedule like that.
I understand, like, this will actually blow you guys. Here's a fact. It'll blow your mind. It won't blow you. Here's a fact. Staying up at night is a known carcinogen. Not sleeping at night is a carcinogen. It makes your risk of cancer even higher. Isn't that crazy? People with the midnight shift are more likely to get cancer than people with the day shift. Same amount of sleep, same amount of whatever. That's why we're humans. No matter how much you love the nighttime, I guess we have to sleep at night. It's just important. So that was a fact that blew my mind in Sleep Smarter. Really good book.
Yeah, man. Right on. Well, what's today about then?
Today is not about that. It's about why perfectionism is completely slaughtering you and your dreams.
Get slaughtered by perfectionism. Well, look, I came up with this topic because yesterday I posted something on Instagram. I think I found, I think it was Alexi Panos posted just a picture on Instagram and it said, "Fuck perfect."
Ouch.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. Fuck perfect. And so I figured, why not? Let's do an episode today on perfectionism and why it's basically slaughtering you and your dreams and your well-being and your emotions. It's dangerous, man. And I know this because I personally have dealt with this perfectionism thing for a large chunk of my life. And honestly, it really it made me miserable, made me stressed and overwhelmed. It made me like stuff would never get done. I would never get stuff done because it was always like, no, I can't get it done because it has to be perfect. Or I'd wait to start a project until.
Especially that.
Yeah.
I remember like the first time I ever just like tried to be perfect was in a video game. Basically, there's this thing called the kill-death ratio where how many deaths you have, how many times you've gotten killed by other people, and how many times you kill the other person, right, in a game. And so what you want is like a good ratio between death and killing. Like you want to get more kills than deaths because if you've died more than you've beat somebody, then you're a loser. So I mean, like I'm in this clan, right? I'm in this group of people, group of gamers, and they're all like, "Hey man, what's your kill death ratio?" I'm like, I was kind of embarrassed to tell them because it was not a good kill death ratio. So then I made it my goal to like get a good kill death ratio to not die as much and kill more people. And that right there is setting yourself for failure because like if the other person's better than you can't control it. You will die and you will rage. And I've raged a lot when I was a kid playing video games. I'm just like, I just want to get a good kill death ratio and they keep killing me and I keep losing and it's like and you know what, that goes with like everything. When you expect perfection, when you expect to never die and just get kills the entire time, then you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You're gonna set yourself up for disappointment and especially like stress. Because once you do lose, you're gonna get stressed.
Here's the thing though. The thing about perfectionism is, and this is the philosophy I had for a big chunk of my life was, it's like you want to be perfect because you want to be the best you could possibly be. It's like you don't want to settle for anything less. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you don't settle for anything but perfect. And the thing is, it's like, what is perfect? Like, really?
Yeah, I agree.
What is perfect?
There's no end.
And obviously this is a word, and you're going to have a different definition for perfect than I do, than what somebody else is. But at the end of the day, I think Andrea posted something she put a comment on one of the things I said about perfectionism, and she said, Cam's defining perfect right now. she says something like, okay, well, what comes after perfect? Like once you attain perfect, what comes after that, right? That basically leaves no more room for growth.
Yeah.
And when there's no room for growth, I believe growth and progress, that's happiness, man. Like you are at your max, you're happy when you're growing. You're happy when you know you're making progress in life. So what's this definition?
Definition of perfect. It's an adjective or a verb. What? Okay, yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's a different one. But having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as it is possible to be. So basically, having everything you want out of something. Like, I want my business to be perfect. And then you have a whole list of things you have to get in order to be perfect. And once you get those things, then what? You're going to want to go to the next level. Perfect, I guess, doesn't exist, I get, like, at that point. And then the second is absolute, complete. To perfect something is to make something completely free from faults or defects, or as close to such a condition as possible. So perfecting something is also impossible. Everything has faults, everything has problems, everything has defects. Like, nothing's perfect. Like, I don't know why the word exists at this point, to be honest.
It's interesting because, actually, I'm really curious to hear what you guys in the comments, give us your definition of perfect. I would love to hear this. Yeah. So Amanda says, say more about the starting something. You were onto something.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so when it came to, like basically every band, every business, every YouTube channel, everything I've ever started, I've always wanted the beginning to be perfect, to be the best I could be. And the thing is like every time I film something, like film a video to start a YouTube channel, I'll be like, you know what, I could do better. And then once I do better, I tell myself I could do better again. So then I scratch that video and I do it again and I do it again, and I'm in this constant loop where I never actually post something because I want it to be perfect right away. When the truth is, go back to our first Leading Life episode. Like, it was brutal. Well, it wasn't that bad, but to our standards, it was brutal. So basically, if you're thinking about doing something, but you don't think you're good enough to start, just start. No, you can't be I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to think of a band that Cage the Elephant Man, their first album was amazing. But the Beatles, man, they took 4 years to get as good as they did for their first album. Some bands, they take a while to finally get known. You can't just, and that's just in the example of bands, but that goes with YouTube, business. It takes 5 years to be an overnight success, right? So
10 years.
If you're thinking about starting something, just start. And once you do start, it'll get practice and you'll get better and people start noticing, and it's you just start, basically.
Yeah, this idea of perfectionism is the reason why my record has not come out for 2 years.
Yeah, it blows my mind that it's been 2 years.
It has been, man. It's almost been, it's been 2 years, because it was January 2015 that I was like, okay, I'm going to do a record. I'm going to do just a record, just me. I'm going to do the whole thing myself, record it myself, write it myself, do it all on my own. And the only thing that has happened is I got some tracks. I've started the record, but what happens is for the first year and a half, I didn't start the record. The first year and a half, I was so focused on okay, is the song perfect yet? Do I have the right arrangement? Is this in the proper key? Have I played it enough times? Do I have and that was the first year. The next 6 months, I didn't record the freaking thing because I didn't have the right guitar. I was like, no, I gotta wait until I get the perfect guitar before I could put down this perfect guitar track. It was ridiculous. She's like, oh my OMG, it is 2017. It's 2017, and I started thinking about this record in January of 2015. So it's literally been 2 years since I've had this idea of putting a record out, and I still haven't done it. And it's literally because of this perfectionism idea. This happens to me a lot in my vocals. Nobody's got the perfect voice, man, especially not me. I'm not trained. I'm not classically trained in singing. I never had a singing lesson. I just sing because it's fun, and that's what I like to do. But for some reason, I've taken this perfectionism mentality into everything I do. I've taken it into my music. I've taken it into my apartment. Look at this house, Cam. You just moved in recently, and how many times have I gotten on your ass about this being crooked, or that being not in the right place, or why is this cup over
Not
here.
much, actually.
Or like, there's a towel over there. Those towels need to go. The first thing I said to you when I got here was like, "Why is this carpet crooked? Who did this? What the
That actually wasn't me. I'm not sure.
No,
why
it's
that
probably
was,
the dogs.
That was a mystery.
It's probably the dogs who did that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But you get what I mean? Like I realize I do this. I've got this mentality of like everything needs to be in its perfect order. Everything, this has got to be here, this has got to be there, that's got to be that, blah, blah. And as a result, guys, I just get stressed out. Like I get overwhelmed and stressed. And then what happens is instead of just starting and allowing yourself to make a mistake, allowing yourself to fail, allowing yourself to learn, allowing yourself to grow, instead it's like you just never start, you know, because it's like, why even try if it's not going to be perfect? Right? Like how many have you ever had this mentality, or is it just me, where you've got this project you want to do, you've got this goal you want to achieve, you want to get healthier, you want to maybe get in a relationship, maybe you want to make some more money in your career, whatever it is, but you don't even start because you're afraid of it not being good enough. You're afraid of it not being perfect. I don't know about you guys, but this has happened to me so many times. And I've just come to the point where it's like, why? Like, why does it have to be perfect? It's almost better that it's flawed. It's better that it's messed up. I'll give you an example. I got tattoos, okay? I got tattoos. And on a few of my tattoos, like this one, there's a couple lines here or there that are messed up. On this one, there's a couple spots that aren't like perfect. You know, it's not perfectly straight lines. It's not, you know, colored in exactly the way I want it. It wasn't exactly what I was picturing in my head when I got the tattoo, right? So what am I like gonna like just shed my skin off and just like, no, like restart? I just had to basically accept that things can't be perfect all the time. Literally. Why? Because it's on my freaking body. Like I look at my body now and I'm like, oh, well that line's, and what about this line over here? And like, oh, that color on that piece and that over there. And I'm looking at myself like, wow, it's so imperfect. But I basically had to train myself into believing that things do not have to be perfect all the time. They just, sometimes, sure, if you want to have some things are perfect, whatever it is, maybe you had the perfect smoothie this morning. That's happened to me before. I have had the perfect smoothie.
Are you sure? Really?
Oh yeah. There's a couple times where it's like, man, that was a damn good smoothie. I've had the perfect, you know, swim. Have you ever had the perfect swim? You're just like, oh, that was just so good. That felt so good. It was so nice. The sun shining. Perfect is really, it's something you have in your mind. It's something you think about. But it's like there's two things, right? There's where you make something perfect, even though it's not really perfect. You just decide, okay, this is going to be perfect. Or it's something that you have this idea of what perfectionism is, and you can never really attain it.
So, like, are you saying perfectionism is like a standard, or almost like
it's an unrealistic standard?
Well, yeah, no, I know that, but I mean, like you said, you can make something perfect. Does that mean like you make it so that you're satisfied with it? Because that's the definition of perfect is having all desirable traits with something. So like everything about this cup is perfect because I desire everything about this I desire, and it's like, yeah.
You could say, look, you could say two things like this cup, okay? This cup is not perfect because it should not have any scratches. It shouldn't have scratches. This cup is perfect because, or you could say this cup is not perfect because it's clear and it should really be, you know, purple, but it's clear, so it's not perfect. Or you could say, you know, this cup right here, despite all the scratches, despite that little dent right there, despite the fact that it's not it's not purple, I'm going to call this cup perfect, and I'm just going to accept it and love it and hug it and be satisfied with this cup just the way it is because it's perfect the way it is. Right?
True.
Two different mentalities when it comes to perfect. There's the mentality that, you know,
things need to be changed.
It has to be perfect. There's this perfect vision. Or there's the mentality that everything in the universe is already perfect right now just the way it is.
Yeah.
What if? Right? What if you guys thought about it that way?
Mm-hmm. We got a comment here. It says, perfection is an illusion created by societal standards. It helps condition the mind to be obedient. You have to fear to fail or look messy to other people. So you create this mindset where you need to conform to society. Being perfect means being what someone else expects from you. Don't be perfect. Be you.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
I like that.
Go give that comment a like, guys.
Somebody like take a Sharpie and write that on your wall.
Yeah, like write it on your forehead. Never forget.
No, I agree, and there's other things too, like so let's real quick like recap why it's killing you, and then let's talk about why perfect is good. Because perfect is good. It's a good standard to chase after, but you actually need to do the chasing. You don't just like get boggled up. Like your mind doesn't understand it. You know, that's why you didn't start your record for 2 years. But yeah, so like, why is it slaughtering you and everything you believe in?
Well, it's a lot of what Dave just said in that comment. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of what he just said in that comment. It's perfectionism is really just an illusion. It's something that either you've created, an illusion that you've created yourself, or an illusion that society or somebody else has created for you. And you've just decided, okay, I'm going to accept this version of perfect. And the thing about perfect is you can never really attain it. Like, you just can't. That's the thing. That's the trick. That's why it's killing you, because you're going after this thing that you'll never get. You'll never win the game. So basically, you're just setting up yourself for failure. That's why it's killing you. And you'll sabotage yourself over and over again because you think, oh, I'm not even going to try because it has to be perfect. I'm not even going to start because it has to be perfect. And I'm not perfect yet. I'm not ready for perfect. Because the mentality about human beings is we always want to grow. There's always another level. There's always something more. Even when we make $1 million tomorrow, like say, oh, right now I just won the lottery, $1 million. That's amazing. Or I just made $1 million in my business or something. Okay, I'm only going to be pumped about that for so long. It's just the truth, right? I'll be pumped about that for a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, and then you get familiar with it, right? It's the law of familiarity that you've talked about before. Things become familiar, and then once you can wrap your head around it, it's like, okay, well, it's not perfect yet because I need to make another change. Because there's always going to be that next level. Oh, I made $1 million. Okay, how about let's go another $1 million. Okay, what about $1 billion? What about $1 trillion? That's like, I was listening to a Jay-Z song, and Jay-Z's like, I think in the line he's like, fuck it, I want $1 billion. And then it was like, okay, $1 billion. Like, that's a lot of money. And then in the next line, he's like, no, fuck it, I want $1 trillion. It's like, damn, $1 trillion, dude. Like, buddy, like, slow down, right? There's never enough. It doesn't matter who you are, how much you have, or what. We always want to reach that next level. We always want more. And that's why perfectionism doesn't work, because perfectionism says, okay, you've reached this level where everything's perfect and things don't change.
Well, Bob Marley quote, man. If you're chasing numbers... Like, if you're chasing money, money is numbers. Numbers never end. So the pursuit of happiness will never end. You'll never be happy.
Yeah, dude. Be like Bob. Listen to Bob, man.
Listen to Bob.
Listen to Bob. So that's a good point. We got another comment. We got some more comments here. I love the comments. Let's read what Louis says. He says, when I practice drums, I'm never satisfied because I'm always trying to make perfect sense of every beat I do. But after every practice, I feel better and more knowledgeable.
So there's when that, like, this is how perfect is good for you, because when you chase after something and you see progress towards that, it's like, yes, I'm getting there almost. But like, see, he's not immobilized. He's actually doing things. Like, a lot of the times perfection immobilizes you to the point where, like, why even play? Like, I suck right now. Why even play? It's like when you're a skater and then you watch a video of this guy like doing crazy kickflip, back disco flip, laser flip, freaking whatever kind of disco cool skate tricks. You know what I mean? You watch a video of this guy like just going crazy on a skateboard, and you look at him and you're just like, I don't even want to try anymore. Like, I quit. Like, quit before you start, because like, you're not as good. You won't be as good as that guy. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. It's like, I'm really into skateboarding. I love it. I love the athletics and like the stuff they achieve. It's freaking crazy, man. It blows my mind. And I skateboard, and it's taken me so long just to learn how to freaking ollie, right? And these guys are doing like flips and like all these crazy shit, manuals and like jumps and stuff. And I was watching this documentary. It wasn't even a documentary. It was a movie. It's called Dogtown, Lords of Dogtown or something like that. I don't really know the name of it. You've probably seen it. It's a classic. It's about skateboarding people. They're skateboarding, right? And the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like waiting for them to kickflip. And I'm like, man, where's the kickflip? Where's the ollie? But this movie it takes place before any of that stuff even existed. So they're doing all these cool skate tricks, and people are just like, wow, that is so amazing. That's so cool. That's so perfect. But here I am watching this movie, and I watched skate competitions like 2016. I saw the SLS skate championship, and it's crazy the things they do. It's nothing compared to the way it was back then. And so basically what I'm getting at here is like, things are always improving. They're always getting better. They're always changing. And so the idea of perfectionism is you reach a level where things don't change anymore and they're just at this perfect utopia, just awesome, amazing, perfect, right? Which like it doesn't exist. And so we've said this in a podcast before. We said strive for perfectionism and you will catch excellence, right? And there's some truth to that. There is. But I would also argue like don't get stressed or overwhelmed about not achieving perfectionism. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't let perfectionism immobilize you. Like Louis or Lewis in the comments, he said, yo, I practice drums and I strive for perfection and every single day I get better, right? And he put a smiley face, like he doesn't think of it as a bad way, you know what I mean? Instead of saying, he says, I strive for perfectionism and every day I get better. He doesn't say, I strive for perfectionism and I never make it, so I'm a failure. Right? So perfectionism, it can be productive, sure, but the problem is it's killing most people. Like most people don't think of it as a productive way to live. They think of it as like death.
That's what I mean. When you're just starting a guitar, then you go see like a crazy guitar player just shredding. It immobilizes you. You're just like, I don't even want to play now. Like this guy's too good. Like.
That's so interesting, man. There's two ways to it. There really is, because you see that person, and for me it'd be like when I saw my favorite guitar player play live, I was so inspired, man. I was like, holy shit, I gotta pick up my guitar right now and learn how to do that, right? But there could have been somebody else in the crowd seeing the exact same thing, saying, oh my god, like I quit, like it's done. I will never achieve that level of perfectionism, so I'm not even gonna bother moving forward. Why even try? Right?
That's what I mean, and a lot of people get that. So like, make sure that you're at least doing what this guy's doing and playing drums. Like the guy could easily just be like, I'm not Neil Peart, I'm not Travis Barker, I'm just gonna go lay down.
I'm just gonna go lay down.
No, but he's playing and he's getting better every day, right?
Yeah. So that's good, man. I like this episode because perfectionism is a topic, like I said, man. It's immobilized me for a long time.
Well, okay, another thing that I've read in A New Earth, it's about the ego and like just like rising up and forgetting all the like negative feelings and like getting them out and realizing that right now is like the best time ever. Like when you come to accept what's going on right now, then you have power. Like I was talking to one of my best friends there on New Year's, and he was like, I was like, how are you doing lately, man? Because I haven't seen him in months. And he just, began to list a bunch of bad things, like all his problems, like his school, his family, his work, his relationship, whatever, how happy he is, like all his money, I don't know. And then I was like, okay, cool. But here in Chatham, like, do you have any problems? Because he lives out of town. He was in town today, or on New Year's. And I said, here, right now, in town, what problems do you have? He's sitting on a trampoline and he's like, I don't have any problems. I was like, exactly. Now you have a space to deal with those future problems that you have. You know what I mean? Now you have a space to get your grades together, to start studying, to start fixing your relationship with your parents and with your girlfriend, with start, fixing your finances and all that stuff. Because right now, like, rarely do you have any problems. The way I think of it is like, it's like there's a conveyor belt in front of you, and there's most of the time nothing's on it, but every now and then something will pop up into your line of sight, and that's a problem. But like 95% of the time the thing is empty and there's nothing in your space, and you have room to figure your stuff out. That's what I love about the power of now. A lot of people, they're worried that now isn't perfect, and in all honesty, now is always perfect. Because now is all you have. Like now, if you're alive and you're seeing things and you're breathing, like life is perfect. That's just my standard. But I mean, like I said, if you focus on right now, you have no problems, and all you have is time to deal with your problems.
Man, that's how so many of our episodes end up. Like we'll do a podcast episode, and at the end of the episode, it's just like, so the moral of the story, guys, is live in the present moment. Just stay here now. Live here now. And seriously, it really is that simple sometimes. Like, you read some of these books by some of these spiritual teachers, and that's often what they tell you. Even like productivity teachers, business coaches, all these people, they emphasize the now because that's where your true power lies. lies here right now in this moment.
That's where no problems are.
No problems. Well, even if there is a problem right here in the present moment, if you're here with that problem and you're present, then you could definitely just address that. We just got a strange comment on Periscope. Something about he said most people have one leg in the past and one leg in the future. And so that means they're peeing in the present.
I believe it, man. That makes total sense.
Does it though? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Dude, like, yeah, I completely agree. I don't even need to explain it.
Good, because
it explains itself.
Anyways, let's wrap this episode up, yo, because I'm going to the gym. Cam might come with me. Guys, let's get Cam at the gym.
I'm not going to
get Cam to...
I have a lot of editing to do.
Get Cam to come to the gym with me.
I'm making a movie, guys. Give me a break.
Anyways, give him a break. Anyways, I'm going to the gym. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm just going to hit some stuff. I'm going to lift some stuff. I'm going to lose my breath. I'm going to sweat. It's going to be freaking awesome.
I hope you have fun.
I'm going to have a blast, man. It's going to be perfect.
Cool. See, that's another thing. I think the next episode we're going to talk about the quality quantifier. Deciding and figuring out what you can do to make anything an amazing experience.
Yo, Motivation Mastermind tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you. Peace.